Welcome to the Glazing Guru podcast. My guests today are Matt Day and David Schwieterman with Glazier Nation and ourpanem.com. We discussed how Glazier Nation has something for everybody in the industry, and they dropped some big news that'll make them even stronger going forward. I had a blast chatting with Matt and David, and I hope you enjoy. Quick housekeeping note for anything show related, bookings, sponsorship opportunities, questions, you can email me at glazinggurupodcast@gmail.com. I think most people watching this are going to have an idea of what Glazier Nation is, but I want y'all to tell me, who is Glazier Nation?
Okay, you want to take that one, or you want me to?
Sure. I mean, Glazier Nation is the audience. It's the glaziers in the field. It's the glass companies. It's the general public all coming together. The architects. It's anybody that's involved in the glass industry all coming together into one big co-op. I'm not sure if I'm phrasing this quite right, Matt, but it's everybody that's in the glass industry or wants to become or get into the glass industry. Simply stated, well, that's what Glazier Nation is, to me, at least.
Well, I've been with it a little longer, so to me, what Glazier Nation is, started out basically in 2017, and we was just a group of guys that wanted to get together on a Facebook group, and after work or during our lunch break or during a break sometime during the day, and see what other glaziers was up to. It was a lot for it was just a place where we could come together and criticize each other's systems. It was brutal at the beginning, but what Glazier Nation evolved into, John, was a place not just to talk and have a beer, but it turned into a place where, hey, is anybody hiring in Florida right now? Is there any glaziers available in Nashville, Tennessee? And so we started getting post after post after post from glaziers and glass companies about this. And then it turned into vendors that wanted to reach an audience, or vendors that wanted to provide free education to that audience. And in return, they get some of their goods out there in front of them. And so that's kind of what Glazier Nation is. It's a big group effort from everybody in the industry that wants to see changes, especially with labor issues, supply chain issues, and automation.
Yeah, and not only that, John, is giving the estimators, the project managers in the office, the tools they need to educate themselves and to find the material and where it may be and who has the material in stock at this time. So really, Glazier Nation evolves around the glass and glazing industry. Along with that, we're trying to educate the general public because we are our own problem. Either you're born in the industry or someone drug you into this industry. So with that being said, we have to educate the younger generation to come into this trade. And that's what Glazier Nation is trying to actively do every day.
Well, David, let's break it down then a little bit. So we've kind of got the broad view, the bird's eye view of what Glazier Nation is. What is Glazier Nation to the Glazers, first of all?
Well, Glazier Nation to the Glazers is like Matt said, number one, it's a place to maybe talk trash if you want to talk trash on a Facebook group or traditional social media. But it goes a step further. We got Glazers reaching out every day looking for new opportunities or get closer to home, find work close to home. And what that means to them is, number one, they can make some more money. And Glazier Nation sitting there allowing them to basically put a profile up of, hey, this is my experience. This is what I do. This is my bread and butter. This is what I love. And it allows the glass companies to find them, hire them direct, whatever it may be. That we're here to help them find a job.
Can I comment real quick on that? If you talk too much trash on Glazier Nation, you're going to be kicked out. I don't have but so many hours in the day to read comments, posts, and everything else. So keep the trash talking at home a little bit. It's okay. But for a glazier, I talked to a glazier today. He said, "Holy crap, man." The other words, what he said, quote unquote. But he said, I can build a billboard on Glazier Nation and show that I'm a caulker, I'm a fabricator, I can do storefront, I can do curtain wall. And he just realized today that billboard is up all over the country for all these glass companies to see. And it may be He may get something as soon as next week for a job, maybe 6 months down the road, but he can even advertise the rate that he's wanting. And that billboard's up. And guess what? It costs them absolutely nothing. And that's one thing it is to that glazier. And then another glazier seen some of our how-to videos. And he's like, holy smokes, I can pull this up on the job site. And now I can go to that exact CRL, whatever kind of system it is, or whoever we're repping, and they can look it up, how to install this system step by step.
Yep.
And that means a lot to a glazier if you don't know what's going on.
And I want to put it this way. We can't expect everybody on the field to want to go out there and put hundreds of different applications out there, right? Hey, XYZ company, go fill this application out, right?
Yeah.
Or give them one spot, fill out the application one time, put all your job experience on that in one particular place, and you're automatically in front of hundreds of glass companies.
Well, the guy told me today, as far as applications on Glazier Nation, you go to the unemployment office, you fill out applications all day, online or in person. You go to Indeed, the same thing. On Glazier Nation, the job hunters are coming to you and basically filling out your application. It works a little bit different because a lot of these people are already working.
So that's the next question. And it's, I mean, if you're paying attention, you kind of probably know the low hanging fruit answer here. So what is Glazier Nation to the glass company? Obviously they can find these candidates fairly easily. Is there anything else that they're working with?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So let me get this.
You're fine. Go ahead.
Okay, glass company. Here's what Glazier Nation is to you. It's your search bar for the glass industry. There's not one out there other than Glazier Nation. Type in the product that you're looking for or the position you're looking for, and we're going to do our best to keep putting in products and people. So you're finding what you need in our search engine. Not only that, for the glass company, a glass company can now go in there and just say, I'm ABC Glass in Douglas, Georgia. And now you can come onto my profile, which we call a storefront. And now you can see every kind of application that our glass company puts in. And so if you're a general contractor and you're looking for a glass company, I can go to ABC Glass and I can see they do curtain wall, they do storefront, they do blast, they do hurricane resistant. They don't do this, this, and this, and that. And if I like them, now I can shoot them invitations to bid through Glazier Nation.
Yeah, and unlike your traditional, pay so much to, I'm not going to drop the competitors' names out there. We're not charging anything for this. I mean, these job postings, John, are completely free. Post as many jobs as you want on Glazier Nation.
Yeah, we want people to find jobs. That's one of the ways we put meaning over profits. We do have people that work direct with Glazier Nation that's willing to travel the country or work right there in a particular city or region. But guess what? We want the glass companies to have a choice. If they don't want just our people that's within Glazier Nation, there's other people that signed up to Glazier Nation that wants to be a direct hire, and they can go out through that. So
I mean, this is for the union and non-union alike.
Yeah.
It's built for everybody. The key thing about Glazier Nation for these glass companies, and this is what everybody loves. Number one is we are pushing free education. So we give these glass contractors, number one, the ability to assign courses completely for free. How do you install this new taper lock system by CRL? How do you install the Bloomcraft door panic? You name it. I mean, it's there for them to utilize, and we're not charging for this education.
And if they have 50 different people working for them in their glass company, and just say this particular crew's got to go out and do this system, they go right to our Panem by Glazier Nation. They send that exact system that they're about to do through an education course, and it gets to the person that way. And so another thing that Glazier Nation does for glass companies, project management and estimating. We have a project management software that's designed to do a little bit more than your typical everyday project management software out there. We track openings by openings. So let's just say we got 100 different types of storefront openings on a big complex, and we got 20 different people doing this. We're going to track each glazier step by step with our project management. Well, if I'm in Douglas, Georgia, and I'm doing this job in Alabama, or I'm doing this job in Nebraska or wherever, and I have the ability to see basically every so many minutes where I am on that job. That is giving the head coach, which is the project manager, the tools he needs to be able to coach his team.
Where is all of this? So you've
Our
got job
panel.
postings, you've got glass contractors looking for employees, you've got project manager software. Where is all of this located?
We built an internet for the glass industry called ourpanam.com.
Okay. That's
And so
kind of what
it's
I
got
wanted.
It's got the search engine, it's got the Facebook or the social media for the industry, it's got the Google. We've got a complete Amazon for the glass industry, for glass companies on there. So I come from we both have ran glass shops before. And so we know that there's so many departments of a glass company that's got to be clicking every day. The safety department, HR department, you're looking at estimating, marketing, legal, insurance departments. And so Glazier Nation tackles every one of those departments for the glass industry. So if you're looking for workers' comp, let Glazier Nation quote it. If you're looking for payroll funding, let Glazier Nation quote it. We have excellent, go ahead.
Oh, I gotta say this right now, Glazier Nation, to answer your initial question too, John, it's a co-op. It's really a co-op of glass companies and vendors all coming together. But now let's talk about buying power, right? When we all come together in one platform and act through Glazier Nation co-op to buy more, say fasteners at a bulk discount rate. So ABC glass shop that does $1 million a year now may have the opportunity to buy that with that same multiplier from XYZ glass company that may do $10 million a year. That's buying power you can't get anywhere else. So Glazier Nation's bringing the workers' comp, the insurance, the procurement,
Employee benefits.
and employee benefits, you name it, all together. So as a big co-op, I mean, that's where we're here to help people save money.
Let's circle back to that point in a second. I got one more question about what Glazier Nation or who Glazier Nation. We've covered the Glazier, we've covered the glass company. What are the vendors doing with Glazier Nation?
Let me
Go fire away.
Okay, so we have around 45,000 in our audience, and we've worked extremely hard over the last 5 years to keep these people glass industry related, not general public so much, but like our LinkedIn has around 12,000 people, 10,000 of those are decision makers within the glass industry. All right, and so our Facebook has around probably 8,000 to 9,000 decision makers, owners of glass companies, project managers, in multiple different countries. And so what happens is we allow the vendors to come in. We say, hey, Glazier Nation is really put together by the vendors. It's not just us doing this. There's other vendors that's with that. And so what they're doing is free education means a lot to a lot of these vendors, because if they can go out there and teach a how-to system that's really going to impact the glass company or change the life of a glazier in the field who's sweating bullets. I don't want to get fired. I want to do this right, but I can't just keep reading these same old manufacturer's instructions. No offense, that's like a 1950s models. We're tired of that. As a glazier, I'm tired of having to look through 26 steps, and I want to see it. It's like, look, it's 2022. I want to see it on a video.
Yeah, I mean, I can't agree more. You buy something new, do you read the instructions, or do you look on YouTube?
And so a vendor with Glazier Nation, a good vendor with Glazier Nation, we can get them in front of 15 to 20,000 people in 1 week, and you just can't. I'm not picking on anybody, but there's no room that big. We have 18,000 weekly members just on our Facebook group. So the vendors can do a lot besides just advertise our audience. And we told them, hey, you're not going to spam our audience. If you're not bringing them education or something they can use, we can't put your products on there.
Yeah.
So it's got to be the right kind of marketing.
And let's put it this way, for the vendors, our Panam and Glazier Nation is designed around one thing, and one thing, or I guess, let's put it this way. There's actually four different things we bring their product cycle through. Okay. The first thing is, for their product, is we provide that free education, and we give the glaziers, the glass companies, one spot in our search engine and one spot, and go assign this course, this video, to your employee that's getting ready to go install a new system they haven't seen. John, we come out in the glass industry with new systems every week. Okay. And it's unfair for our glaziers, to go through there and read every manual. We need to make this, we're in the 21st century here. We need to make this digital, put it on a YouTube kind of clip, put it on a TikTok kind of video, styling, learning video, so they can see it, they can review it, and see all the PDFs right there, the installation instructions.
First thing we do, we give each vendor their own academy,
Correct.
a way to showcase their products and their education.
Number 2, ITB, invitation to bid. We allow these every estimator. This is a key to me, my heart right now. When I was bringing on new estimators, John, these estimators for these glass companies, they only know the local vendors and manufacturers in their region. Okay, so unless I'm a sales rep walking in the door and handing out a line card, I'm not going to get a quote request from that company. That is, that's the 18th century, the night. Long story short, it's not how the new era and the new world's going. So where I'm going with this whole thing is, I want this estimator to have the opportunity to get this next job by having all these vendors in all these different states in one centralized location.
What we're trying to do also for vendors, if start a snippet now, say, what do you do for vendors? It's okay. We want to make this like a 1-minute answer.
I can trust me, I can grab that question from before and tape it all together, but go ahead. What is Glazier Nation doing for the vendors?
Well, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get the vendors in front of architects. Well, as an industry, I believe we failed in certain ways to bridge the glass industry direct to the architects. The architects has a big job of going in and finding the right products. We're going to make it so simple for architects to go into what we call a storefront for a vendor and pick the system that they want on their job. And so that's our number one thing that we're going to do for the vendors. Number 2 thing that we're going to do for vendors is we're going to promote their education on the product. In college, one of the things that I learned is that if you really want to sell, you've got to educate through your marketing. And so when a glazier can see, hey, I want to put in that system because they've made it so easy for me to learn. I know it. I feel comfortable with that. Boss man, buy their system. So we want to get people's systems popular with the glaziers. And I'm going to do a name drop on that. I worked 3 long, hard years trying to get Smart Lift very, very popular for a company called Great Lakes Lifting. And Smart Lift now, when they call a general manipulator, everybody uses the term Smart Lift, whether it's a Smart Lift or not, because Glazier Nation preached, hey, this is good for the glaziers. It's not a robot coming to take away our jobs. This is here to make it where we can install glass and have a back and that's going to last us in our retirement. And so that's one of the things that we try to do to the individuals for a vendor. The third thing is we're trying to get your product bought as many times as possible from the glass company, the people who's actually making the purchase. And so we set up a very simple way. And so as a vendor, if you're a vendor, we can manage all your social media as well. But when we go to help you sell, we have different programs where like we market, sell, and collect for 2.5%. And, we do that with other third-party reps in mind. We let third-party reps use our panel, but that's a big thing that we do for vendors, because a lot of the commission out there is a lot higher than that. Even the marketing, a company's marketing budget may be 6% of their budget. We're marketing, selling, and collecting on behalf of that vendor for 2.5%.
Explain the third party on our Panem.
The third party on our Panem.
So we allow the third party salesmen, and we have third party salesmen also that work with Glazier Nation that are selling and helping spec your guys' products.
Correct. And so
to whom?
To the glass company. So all right, so there's a lot of third party reps out there. One of the most well known is Matt Price. He's got MPS Sales. He's got a big product line card, and so he's a great guy. And even though he's a third party rep, for all these different companies, he has chosen our Panem as a very valuable tool for his company to automate
Okay.
and make it a lot easier for him as a third party rep.
So
'Cause
if
he's got
he's
to
using
sell
that,
so
he's
much.
advertising his rep company through there.
Correct,
We're-
and the
All right.
products that he's repping.
Right.
We're
Okay.
giving him the digital real estate and the audience, the niche audience, to go into anybody's door through our audience and sell one of his line cards. I mean, that's what we do. So he
Matt,
doesn't.
let me hop back to something you said in there about architects and getting specified. So how is our Panem or Glazier Nation, how is that working with architects? It doesn't, everything you've said up to this point makes tons of sense. The glaziers, the contractors, the vendors. I can't picture architects necessarily using this.
Vendorsnation.com is specifically made for architects and general contractors. You can find out at vendorsnation.com, which is owned by our Panem. You can go in, if you're an architect, you list the system. Hey, I need all glass partitions on this. I need curtain wall. I need fire rated curtain wall, whatever it may be. And they can go in and pick it up. And so every CSI code is on there.
And so every different cost code that we utilize in the glass and glazing community, from all glass partitions to curtain wall to glass fire rated, it's going to give the architect that same firepower and that knowledge of all the vendors in the United States and on a global level of who's in that industry.
It's a global.
So it's now, and
that's on there.
with that being said, they get to see the educational videos on their product, their literature, their CAD files, and their BIM files, all from one spot.
So how are you getting that to the architect?
So
how are you getting that tool to the architect?
All right. So 2 ways in 2023 is our big push.
Yep.
We got something called the Glazier Nation magazine coming out. And so the Glazier Nation magazine is primarily for architects. Most of the print is going to be for architects. And what it's doing is it's explaining to the architects, hey, here's how you use our Panem. Because if we get the architect audience, and then also we're building like Glazier Nation on LinkedIn, Glazier Nation Facebook. We got an Architects Nation that we're developing now. So it's all straight architects. And so we're trying to get as many thousands in Architect Nation as we got in Glazier Nation. And so our whole principle with them is through the magazine, and the magazine will be on paper showing them how to run it. And so we're talking about 16,000 offices of architects across the country. And so obviously we're going to do some consulting with architects to bring them in, AIA shows, everything that you can name. This is how we're advertising to them.
It's the same exact general principle as from your buyer. When you educate the architects about your system and a 5-minute little quick video, there's a good chance they're going to put you in there as an ad alternate.
Is it safe to say, if I wanted to just try to summarize the last 40 minutes that we've been speaking, is it safe to say that you're just tying every aspect of the construction and architecture industry through your technology?
We have our own patent pending for the construction's internet.
Yeah. So John, what we did for the glass industry, for the plumbing industry, we're giving them their own our own Facebook, their own Google search bar, their own Amazon, their own RCAT, their own social media, like I said, the Facebook, their own profiles to market their products and services, and their own free bidding services. I mean, it's all inclusive. We took today's top technology and merged it into one.
Right. So you're using that to just, and this is a common theme on my show, is connecting people and communicating. And it sounds like you're just doing that through technology.
Correct. I mean, it's all about making the end user, whether the architect, the glazier in the field, the glass company, their life easier. When I have to go search for installation instructions from this manufacturer to that manufacturer, you're going to lose my interest. And I got to log in to have an account to teach my guys. You know what? You need to make the life easy for everybody. When you make everybody's life easier in the field, from the glass company to the architects, they're going to end up coming to you.
And within 3 years, 2023 to us is all about architects. 2024 is all about GCs, and then 25 is going to be about developers. But here's the long-term bird's eye view for what we call global construction industries, which owns Glazier Nation. We want it where a developer could come on and pick the architect that they want. And so if we have all these architect signs up he can pick his top or her top 5 architects of choice, narrow them down, have a great way to compare them from each other, see what projects they've been on, what's their strengths, kind of diagnose their weaknesses. And now that developer, step A, has picked an architect. So now that architect's got to go out, and in a lot of cases, he's got to find or she's got to find a GC to bid their work, or 10 or 15 reputable GCs to come in and build their work if they're doing the bid process side of construction. And so once they find the bidder, the contractors that can give a good solid bid and take off that job, that architect's got to have the tools to stay as the chief builder throughout that whole job and watch it go through. And so GCI, each nation, Glazier Nation, Plumbers Nation, Electric Nation, they all speak to each other. And so now the architect has a master control command center because he is the chief architect. Now he can make his jobs go faster with schedules, supply chain, because everybody's using one system. Now that the architect has chosen the GC, and now that GC can come in and pick his subcontractors. So what he's going to do for Division 8 is he's going to go in to our Panem, to the Vendors Nation portal, and he's going to pick the top glass companies in this zip code for this project. Hey, we got 100,000 square foot of unitized wall on this. We got some interior storefront, some handrails, and he's speccing out his system.
Right.
And then he's qualifying the perfect glass company for that, bonding capacities or whatever it may be. And our Panem's bringing them, Glazier Nation's bringing him the best of the industry in that zip code.
So if you're either a vendor, or let's just say, let's use vendor as an example. There are, you know how many vendors there are. There are tons of vendors, and I've heard you use the word global, which means there's even more.
Mm-hmm.
How does a vendor get on, if you search for something on Google, you want to get on the first page. How does a vendor get on the first page for the architect?
So, okay, so that's very easy. We have something called a storefront. With us, you don't have a profile, you have a storefront. Yep. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to give that storefront to that vendor, where the architect that's going by can go in and take a look at that company and that product. And so what they do is they can pay us to build that for them. Now there's companies out there that pays us to build videos. So we got our own production teams and everything that's created or needed to make that storefront the best it can be. We're going to write articles for that company. And every single article that we write is a SEO word. And so if we're talking about curtain wall a lot, well, when an architect searches our search engine for curtain wall, go to Google, type in curtain wall. I guarantee you don't get the curtain wall that we know in the glass industry. You get some kind of curtains. Yep. It's not niche. Ours is niche. And so what they do is we build out that storefront for you. We make videos, and then we type in your SEO words.
And that's how you're going to come up to the top, because we want the best profiles up top, John. So just like Google, I mean, it as well as I do. People pay thousands and tens of thousands of dollars to come up on the top of that thing.
Yeah, I had to go down to about the 11th or 12th to find FGO, but before that is we've got wall drapes at JCPenney, we've got vinyl curtain wall dividers. So yeah.
Yep. So you know what we're talking about. I mean, this gives the architect nothing to go off of. This gives the glass company trying to find a certain vendor, an estimator that just is fresh in the industry, nothing to go off of to find someone to give them a quote on this job.
And not only that, but the architects are one of our best friends. So it's not always a pay to play with us. You got to remember, we're trying to find exactly what the architect's looking for. So just coming in and throwing a bunch of money at Glazier Nation is not always going to be the answer, because if your product's not the best for that architect, we're not going to pull you up as fast. Yeah. But we do have ways with like Vendors Nation, which is got the CSI for Division 8 on there and all the categories. And so let's just say we got all glass partitions, demountable set. We go in and click on that category. Next thing you know, we see 10 different companies, vendors that's on there. Now they can pay to be on there at the top of that if they want in that spot. But you got to understand where we're looking at it. If you don't have your product on there, it's not going to go. So we're not the typical search engine where you just pay to play.
Yeah, and to keep it very simple, John, $5,000 will build most vendors a very nice storefront. You're going to show up in our SEO words. You're going to get all your products and SKUs put in there in your storefront, and you're going to show up on ITB in our categories. Another way that you can get in there is you don't pay us a darn thing to build your storefront, and we're going to go in there and we're just going to simply charge you 2.5% commissions to sell, collect, and market your company.
The lack of installers in the glass industry, is Glazier Nation doing anything to address that? How can Glazier Nation help?
I'm not saying we're the only ones, but night and day, day and night. You know, what Glazier Nation is doing to address the shortage problem is we're trying to give as much light and to people like My Glass Class by NGA. If you don't educate the world on what a glazier is, don't expect to get no more in the trade. Most glaziers these days call themselves a mechanic, because nobody knows what a glazier is. We got to tell people what we do, and they think we glaze donuts. And until we, like you were saying, until we get it popular for the general public, and the general public knows what a glazier is, nobody's doing that as much as, I would say NGA. I know right where they're going with My Glass Class. They're trying to get this into colleges, tech schools, high schools. And if they succeed, now you have a whole lot more people knowing what glazing is. So we're trying to give firepower and light to them.
Another key thing here to understand, John, is we're going to give this to the State Department of Labor, and they're going to allow anybody that's on unemployment, they can fill out a resume, in Glazier Nation completely for free. Like I was saying before, if they fill out that resume one time on our Panem or through Glazier Nation, they're automatically in front of hundreds of glass companies that are actively looking for candidates, and it's going to help match make them. So they don't have to go out there and find, XYZ company and do an application here and fill out 40 applications to find that one job. So it's a matter of us making it easy for the general public to get into the trade. That's what we're here trying to do.
All right. So Glazier Nation has value for the glazers, the glass contractors, the architects, the vendors, the general public, everybody. We're tying everybody together in the glass industry.
Yeah,
that's what we're doing.
But no, it's fixing to. I'd like to make an announcement if I could.
Well, yeah, I was about to ask that. We had chatted prior to this podcast, and you had alluded to some big news. Is that something we can talk about?
Yeah, we can talk about that.
So hit me.
All right. So what Glazier Nation has done, we've spent our whole piggy banks and basically every ounce of our time making this platform to make labor issues go away in the glass industry. One of the biggest problems is not just finding labor, but financing labor. So Glazier Nation has made some deals with some big partners where we could come in for a glass company that's doing commercial construction. And now we can look at that glass company and we can say, glass company, we've looked at your credit, we looked at your history of doing business, and we would like to issue you so much money per week on your payroll. And we don't care, like I can honestly say this now that the deal is in contract. If you've got 400 employees, Glazier Nation more than likely can finance your company 1 to 2 months.
Whether they're W-2, union employees,
1099,
or 1099, it doesn't matter.
Because we are a co-op of glass companies, and we just attracted a very, very major financer for the industry so that we all share that same interest rate. And it's really mind blowing because like literally our partner is not scared. If you've got $100,000 payroll a week and you need 60 days to collect, we're not afraid of it.
No.
And so what they're going to do is within a year, I don't know if it's going to take quite that long, but if you're using our labor financing, we're also exploring, it's not in contract yet, but we feel very strongly that it'll get there, both sides of our parties feels that we will make the deal, but we're not just going to finance the payroll, but materials for the companies as well.
Yeah, so explain how that would work.
Okay, I'm a glass company. And so now, I really need help purchasing these materials. And just say I got $100,000 worth of aluminum and $100,000 worth of glass and consumables and a few more products. Just say I got 25,000. Well, we come in here and we write a check on behalf of that glass company straight to the vendor on day one. So we expect the vendors to give the very best rates. If we're going to pay you on net one, we expect the vendors to give the very best rates to these glass companies. In return, we give that glass company, according to their credit, anywhere from 14 days to 60 days.
We're basically, long story short, we're allowing a negative cash flow industry not to have to operate that way. So you know how it is. You turn your pay app in, the glass company, ABC Glass Company turns their pay app in, the GC pays 60 days, 90 days. We're allowing the small mom and pop shops, even the larger shops, to now have that financing available to get them out of a bind. And again, just to help them you can't find interest rates this cheap.
And all of this financing, whether it's payroll or materials, this is all through Glazier Nation.
Correct. And so these companies were the ones actually doing a lot of the negotiating on their multiplier. If we're going to pay you that quick, because now they got a little interest to pay, if they don't go through, even if they go through the bank, we'll still be cheaper. But now, because we even it out, Glazier Nation evens it out by we got you some interest tacked on, but we lowered your multiplier, or we made your multiplier better because now you're paying like super fast to your vendors.
Again, it's all a part of being this co-op, right?
And
so
some vendors will offer a discount on fast pay too, besides the multiplier.
Exactly. Yeah. And so we're allowing this small mom and pop shop now to buy like they never had the buying power before.
Well,
sure.
And so I knew these struggles, trying to start, my own ordeal, years ago, is how do I come up with the money? Well, what bank's going to take me on? And it's just, and that's something I took to heart, saying, how do we fix this problem? Well, the first way to do it is make a big co-op and have the buying power there. So that's what we have.
And we, like I said, we don't care if you got 1,000 employees, and you don't have to be just a glass company to get payroll funding from us. You can be a big manufacturer or a vendor, and we can go in there and we could basically to take over your payroll. Now, we are partnered with some very big companies that acts as a PEO, and we cut the checks to every one of your employees, take out their benefits, their workers' comp right there on the spot, make sure that the money goes right where it needs to go, and then we charge an admin fee for that.
Yeah. So simply stated, you can either finance your labor, or you have an a la carte of whether you want us to pick up your workers' comp, your insurance, and your healthcare.
So Glazier Nation, I mean, everything you guys are telling me, this is a one-stop shop for a glass contractor. They can find their employees, they can find training, you have project management software, and you can finance the projects. Am I missing something?
The only thing that I would say that you're missing is an account on Glazier Nation. And we have everything but you, John. Are you on Glazier Nation?
I'm not.
Not Phantom yet?
I'm not.
Well, we're missing you.
All right. First thing tomorrow.
And look, we made it completely free. Go on there. Any company can build an account. Any vendor can build an account. Any individual can build an account. We don't charge anything. There's no subscription costs. If you're an individual, go make your own, storefront for yourself. Go market yourself. Go put yourself out there to make more money.
Sure.
We want you to make more money, or get closer to your hometown. If you're a glass company, go on there, put the free job postings, go search through hundreds of people in the glass industry that are looking for jobs. We're not sitting here directing and saying you need to go and buy an app, through us to see these guys. Listen, it's completely free. You can see these guys for free.
Yeah. So browsing resumes, posting your resume, completely free. Glass contractor ABC hires Joe Smith. They don't pay you any fee for that. That's just a free service.
No, but we do have people that we're strongly like Ashley Klein with MR Davidson. If you need a great recruiter,
Yep.
go find her on the app and tell her, hey, I need a project manager, and she will be glad to bring you a project manager or glazier, and then she'll do, that's her role. We're not trying to duplicate what she already does or a lot of other people. We're just the house that allows everybody to operate within it. So with glaziers that we do work, now we do have our own W-2
W-2
employees. And so what happens with them, we never take a dime out of their check.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's awesome.
That's very important to us.
Yep.
So if they say, if I go out of town to work for my family and I want $45 an hour on the check, plus motel, housing, per diem, benefits, whatever it is they say, is kind of what we go with, and we simply mark that up. Now, here's how much we mark that up. The faster you pay, the less we mark it up. If you finance that person 60 days, there's going to be a bigger markup.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're here to ensure that that guy gets paid on time. And so, yes, you can hire guys direct, but the key thing here is how we, and John, everybody's probably wondering at this point, how in the heck are you guys making money? Well, we've got these timesheets in there. So we're here giving the glass companies the ability to track. Remember, like I was saying, the bid hours compared to the actual hours.
Right.
We're giving them it's a software, it's a SaaS, a recurring fee. That's how we monetize from that end. Yes, all this stuff takes money to keep up and running. But that's the basics of who we are and how we monetize.
No,
Basically, if I had to leave it with a closing on what is Glazier Nation, Glazier Nation is something that we rushed as fast as we could to build with all the tools that a glass company, a vendor, or an individual would need going into the next recession. John, you told me even yourself, and I've got recession war stories. You do.
yeah.
Now, I don't know if you'll talk about this on camera, but what did you see in the last recession?
Yeah, no, it's I've never kept it a secret. My dad owned a glass company. I worked with him, for him, on and off. I mean, from age 14 to 27, give or take a couple years there. And towards the end of the recession, we were bidding jobs at a 10% markup, and we were losing them. And you guys know you can't take a job at 10% because you may not get that 10%. So we decided to shut the doors and go get jobs. And that's what we did. And quite honestly, it led to a lot of stress in my dad's life, and didn't work out well for him.
Well, even going into the pandemic, I can tell you right now, everybody was nervous bidding these jobs. And I know estimators all over the country, and they're going to tell you they took jobs way too cheap.
Sure.
And the effects of that are going to start catching up. So we're here trying to simply bring all this together. And the easiest way to recession proof your company is to give you a little bit of financial backing. Number one,
Sure.
your job postings out there, maybe find some products cheaper, by outsourcing to, 2 states over from a different distributor, whoever it may be, or manufacturer, and or to, find another candidate out there that's looking for jobs. I mean, hell, there's thousands of, resumes you can look through.
Glazier Nation was designed to be a shield against the recession. And so your company needs financing. We wanted to provide it. Your company needs a great team to outdo a recession. So we put that together with our labor match. Your company needs automation and know exactly what's going on the jobs. You can't lose 1 penny on these jobs.
Yeah.
And so we brought in the project management, the realistic estimation. And so to close it up, what is Glazier Nation? It's the tools that glass companies need to survive in hard times, or really, really thrive in really good times.
Yep. And it's there to help with overhead. I mean, end of the day, it amazes me, John. Companies that automate, their processes, their overhead is way lower.
Yeah.
They have less people sitting behind the desk.
So let me ask you, and this is a little maybe off script here, but what you just said about automating your company, what I find a lot is people want to do that, but they don't, because they just don't have the time. They're busy putting out fires. They're busy running in circles. Is this product a way to get that done?
I hear that same excuse all the time. Okay. And, people, they'll come in and say, hey man, I want this software. I want to use it. And yeah, they don't make the time for it. But when you understand the basics of it, they take your estimate, upload it into your PM software, and you're up and running within 5 minutes in the turnover process, you can't beat that. But I mean, yes,
There is a learning curve.
There's a learning curve with any software.
And
But I'm gonna put it this way too, is our generation, the millennials coming in, the college students, they want this automation. They do want this automation because it's going to help them not to sit behind that desk for 80 hours a week like I used to have to do to try to figure out, okay, hey, paper here, what
Sure.
am I missing?
Yeah.
It gives them the automated tools to maybe be able to spend more time with their family, right? Maybe they're working 50 hours a week now because they've automated that process.
So what's the trick to get someone to bite the bullet and jump into that learning curve?
so what we do, the trick is, first thing we do is we offer them a storefront, and we offer it to them at what we call a dirt cheap price. This is for glass companies and vendors. For $5,000, because you don't have the time, we go in and we do it for you.
Yeah.
So we virtually make nothing the first year off your company if all you're going to spend is 5,000.
So if you want to come in there, you can literally have an estimating template set up for your company, your project management template set up, and your marketing.
You get that, and I'm talking about the human element. They've got it, and it's the same with any other estimating software. They get the big shiny new toy, but they don't use it. How do you get them to use it?
Well, it's kind of like bringing a horse to water.
Yeah,
it's not going to drink. It's not going to drink. So
let me ask you this. So right now you're looking for people, and you go to Indeed, you go to Monster, you go to Craigslist, you go to everywhere you can. But if you don't want to take the time to go to our panel, go to a filter that says Glazier, I want one 5+ years in this zip code. It's kind of on you at that point, because we have dumbed it down, and you're searching a direct data bank of people. Like Indeed does not have what we have. They just don't.
I agree. Just to preface, I agree, and I'm a big proponent of using technology to help your business. I just see people that just refuse to mentally because they know how to do it. David, you mentioned the papers everywhere, right? No. It's like I know how to do a stick takeoff by hand. What do I do it? No, right? Because you have tools to do it faster.
Check this out. We got so much stuff coming down the pipe. It'll blow your mind. And the stuff that we have coming out is building on the stuff we already have. And what we're doing to build on it is we're building a more user-friendly side to it. So for example, right now, we can get you shop drawings, but in the future, you're going to get shop drawings with a little QR code on each elevation. And so I'm a glazier, I can take that shop drawings, hit that QR code, and just that fast, I'm clocking in on that elevation. And that shop drawings is tracking my hours now. There's so much stuff construction is not doing that we're trying to do.
Absolutely. And yeah, I've talked at length on multiple podcast episodes about using documents like you're talking about to have more information in them. And if you guys are doing that stuff, that's awesome. What do anything y'all want to add? I think we know where to find you. rpanam.com, glazernation.com.
Yep.
That's ourpanam.com. And
I do want to add this. And the reason why, just for so everybody understands what Arpanam is. Arpanam is the main holding company, okay? And why we didn't brand ourselves as Glazier Nation, because Arpanam is Latin for our bread. And what we have underneath Arpanam is called Global Construction Industries. And underneath that, we have Plumbing Nation, Electrical Nation, Glazier Nation. So we couldn't wrap our whole software around just the glass industry.
Sure.
To make this for the architects and the general contractors. We're also going to global ag industries, global medical.
Right now it's just GCI until 2025.
Correct. But yeah, that's why we're branded that way. So the audience does understand, and anybody listening to this, Arpanam is there as a simple funnel for down the road. So we don't have to what's the easiest way to say it? We don't have to have a new website to come out. So that's why it's branded around Arpanam.
And there's all kinds of ways to get involved. If somebody wants to say, hey, I'm interested in doing this idea, and this idea, well, pitch it to Glazier Nation. pitch it to us, and if we like it and we see where it can fit in like a missing puzzle piece to what we have, we'll try to build it. That's how we've built all this, just simply listening to people. We've had people that come up and said, hey, I would love to invest in Glazier Nation. So that's how we, like this guy. That's what he done. That's how we met. He had a project management software and an estimating software. So he brought it to the table. So Glazier Nation is not even just me and David.
But to
You know,
get
it's a
involved,
group of-
to get involved in any of this, we want to start at ourpanam.com. Is that correct?
No,
That's correct.
correct.
All right. We
Or a
start
phone
there.
call to us and let us walk you through it.
Perfect. Well, hey, Matt, David, I really appreciate it, man. Really interesting stuff. Thanks
No.
again.